Hey everybody, welcome back to Inspiration Nation. You might have been wondering where I disappeared to. Well, I've been very busy here in Cebu, Philippines, working on an exciting project. It's a short documentary on children living on the dump site here in Cebu, and a lot of those children and families are here today to celebrate the unveiling of this community center, which the 17 De Keyser and Friends Fellows have been working on for 6 months. Big celebrations here today as the project comes to an end, and I will tell you all about that in the show. I also sit down with Bjorn Herring, my project friend, to talk about my documentary and tell you what that is all about. And with that, enjoy the episode. Just seeing every tiny bit of building that I helped build is just makes me proud.
No, it's really difficult, but now these are our walls and it's great.
Finally, that was the day that we always waiting for hold this project.
This building is a culmination of over 2 years of planning, almost 6 months of learning, yet entire lifetimes of hope.
It's not just a building, it's the end of one journey and the start of another. The official opening of this community center marks the end of the De Keyser and Friends Cebu project, a 6-month journey completed by 17 fellows from around the world. Together they helped build this from the ground up.
It's the first step, and that's usually the one that's most difficult, to mobilize the communities in Umapad to actually think of coming here.
This plot of land in the jungle will be the future home for 50 families from the Umapad dump site in Cebu. The rehousing project has officially started now that the community center is up, and in January, families from the dump site will begin building their homes around it.
De Keyser and Friends to help community in Umapad, and thank you very much.
Sa akong nakita, taas jud ang akong pagsalig, pagtuo nga madayon jud ang housing sa Compostela kay nahuman naman ang center sa kaning housing. Dako jud ang akong pagtuo nga matuman jud ang.
I think the fellowship really just opened my eyes to the world in a lot of ways, and opened my eyes to how the world works and what poverty really means. I had never been to a developing country before.
The fellows spent the first 3 months building their knowledge in villages around the Philippines. They farmed in Negros, learned about cooperatives in Bantayan, and community development in Bangkal. Then it was time to get their hands dirty with 8 weeks of construction in Compostela. They teamed up with Filipinos, workers from the dump site, and each other to build the community center.
Working with people from different cultures made this experience more meaningful, because you learn not just constructing but also communicating and living with the people from different backgrounds and cultures.
Every single day coming here and working together with these people, it was, okay, we have to get the job done and we better, understand each other, especially on like really hard days, such as when we poured the floor, the concrete flooring, when we worked 10 hours straight and everything had to be done really fast. It was raining, the monsoon was pouring against our backs.
Pouring rain was the least of their problems. With no access road, every hammer and nail, board and wire was lugged in by hand. The fellows carried bags of gravel up and down the steep terrain on a daily basis. But all that sweat was poured into more than the community center, says the project friend Father Heinz.
Seeing the center, it just shows that something can be done. It's better, as they say in English, to lighten a candle than to curse the darkness. And that is exactly what has happened here. So things are moving.
The fellows sure have a good excuse to come back and visit with the families. For now, though, as they head back to their home countries, they can say they've left something behind in Cebu, and Cebu has left something behind in them.
The overall project has made a tremendous change in my life.
From the projects, it seems like I know I can do something.
I think that taking myself out of this Filipino context will make me realize like what a journey it has been.
It's been an amazing experience. It's been a wild ride, lots of ups and downs, but I look back on it with really fond memories and I will remember it for the rest of my life.
Megan, you're doing this documentary about the dump site. So why you decided on that issue or that theme?
Well, if you remember the first show that I did for Inspiration Nation, I actually went to the dump site and I met a woman named Vilma and she showed me around her home, and I just remember thinking this place, it's gonna sound weird, is in a weird way magical, because despite the fact they live in these horrific conditions, especially the children, they just have smiles on their faces all the time. And it was just really, it put things in perspective for me to really rethink what I have and what I should be thankful for, because they are thankful for everything they have and it's not very much. And so I wanted to show everyone, the world, hopefully, you know, their stories, and in particular the children, because I go there and I just hear the children's laughter, and that's something that really inspired me to make the film.
Can you remember the first time you met Mary Grace?
The first time I met Mary Grace was when I was meeting with Father Hines. He is a development worker who's lived in Cebu for 30 years, and he's at Umapad every Saturday. And I told him I had this idea to make a documentary about the children of Umapad. And I said I was looking for a child whose story was really interesting, and so one day he was handing out medication and he just pointed to Mary Grace and said, her story's amazing, just look at her skin. Her skin is really, really dark, which tells you that she has spent day after day after day in the heat, in the scorching sun, scavenging. And so I introduced myself, you know, she's 13, I'm just like, hey Mary Grace, my name's Megan. Nothing fancy, but slowly but surely I got to know her really interesting and amazing story. She's a little bit shy, she's a very shy girl, she doesn't talk so much at first, but then, you know, I ask, how's school going? And she goes, oh, I'm learning ecosystems right now. You can just tell she is so passionate about school. She just could talk about it forever. She talks about her math class, how she's top of the class right now, and she's learning about plants and animals in her science class, and that's when I went, okay, there's something here. She's really special. You can tell that she's really bright, and that's when I'm ready to bring a camera in, because she had gotten to know me. I wasn't just this random person with a camera, and that's when things started to really get interesting.
Then we brought in this new head camera. So what's going on with the head camera?
So another interesting aspect to this film is we have a head camera. It's a camera you attach to the head, just a tiny thing. It's normally used for sports. And we thought it would be a really interesting way to show her life, to just put it on her head and say, go do whatever it is that you would normally do. Rather than being a filmmaker and getting them to stage things, I wanted it to be really natural and organic. So these shots so far that I've gotten from this head camera are stunning. just, I mean, it's weird to say stunning pictures of a dump site, but it is. It's just, it's shocking, I guess, more than stunning. You know, it looks like a fishbowl. It looks like you're in a dream, but you're really not. You're not in a dream, you're in a nightmare. Mary Grace may be used to it, this is her life, but to me, to probably most people who will see this film, it is a nightmare. So I'm hoping, you know, this will really give a different perspective to her daily life. It just feels really natural, and that's the kind of films I want to make. Just say, look at this amazing, interesting girl, here's her story, don't get into the politics of it, and just, I think that's some of the most powerful films out there.
What leads us to the title of the film? You ever thought about it?
Yes, I've been working on a title for a while, thanks to your help, Bjorn. The title I'm working with right now is Mary Grace's Dream, or The Dream of Mary Grace. And her dream is to actually get off the dump site, and she's going to school. She's having to juggle scavenging on the weekends, going through mounds of garbage to find whatever she can to help take care of her family. She's got a little sister and a little brother, and her mom and her dad, and she scavenges on Saturdays and Sundays so that her family has money and so she can go to school. And her dream is to become a lawyer or a doctor. So big dreams for sure, to get off that dump site and get her entire family off the dump site one day.
You have personal goals, so tell us a little bit more about that.
I'd really like to actually get this into the film festivals if I can. Believe me, I'm flying by the seat of my pants with this documentary. I've never made a documentary, especially one where I won't be in it. None of my voice. I'm relying totally on Mary Grace. And, you know, I think that I would really like my first documentary to be something that I'm proud of. That, at the end of the day, is what I want. I want to feel like I've given Mary Grace and her family a chance to tell their story.
That goes with the flow. I don't really like controlled environments, so I'm kind of spontaneous in that way. My second one is quite creative minded. My thoughts are quite creative, obviously, because I enjoy doing art, so I have to be creative. I love anything that's performance and creativity. And I'm fairly indecisive. That would be my third one. I never really know which direction I'm taking, so I never really know where I'm going to end up. I get out of bed to see the world every day, to see what happens, to see where my day takes me. That's the reason I get out of bed every day. Well, to be honest, I have a list of 100 things to do before I die. That is my challenge. I want to complete that. So every day I have a challenge. Well, not every day. I'm working towards that. One thing for the rest of my life would be creating dance movement on screen, and I do this because I like to combine art and dance together, so I'm just inspired by people moving around, and I'd also be directing them and making something new. People inspire me, life inspires me, movement inspires me, and art inspires me. Anything that's different, anything that looks interesting, this is what inspires me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the return of Inspiration Nation. The celebrations here in Compostela are coming to an end. I can't believe 6 months ago I stood in this exact same spot in the middle of the jungle and there was nothing. Now there's this amazing building, the start to something new, the future home of so many of these families here from the dump site, and I can't believe the project is coming to an end 6 months later. Thankfully my project isn't over. I'm actually headed to Hong Kong next, and you will see that in the next episode, and I will see you soon.